on this picture, I would like to show you what I've done myself. This is ridiculous, of course. The hexagons doesn't look the same, as you see, because there's no way I can do that without any tool. And moreover, with no tool, there's no way that I can estimate exactly at which point I will join them at the center. There's no way. But now, think about it. There are thousands of bees. They are located in different points of the hive. How are they able to join them right at the center with no tool? It is a very important fact that we know that inside the hive, there is no sunlight, which means that they can't see each other. And we scientifically know that the bees are deaf. They can't hear each other. So how is it possible that they can do these hexagons without any mistake? Have you ever seen in your entire life a defected honeycomb? No, you just can't. There is no way. But think about, let's say, factories, high technological factories, like a car factory, for instance, BMW or Mercedes. It's a statistical fact that all the factories, their managers, they announce a statistic. They say that every 1,000 car, out of 1,000 car, 1 or 2 or 3 are defected. So the most technological factories are doing mistakes. However, for thousands and millions of years, the bees, they don't do any mistake. It is very interesting. So I would like to show you an important picture. This is very interesting. This is a fossil rock. I found it in Anatolia. And this picture shows a fossil. This is a hive, a fossil of a hive. And if you zoom in inside the hive, you're going to see the hexagons. And this fossil rock is estimated to be aged like more than 65 million years old. This is very interesting. If you remember from the first, my colleague, during his lecture, he showed the scientific evidences for the invalidity of the theory of evolution. And this is, again, another evidence that shows that there hasn't been any change for millions of years. Where is the change? Where is the evolution? There is no evolution in this fossil. The hive for millions, the honeycomb, for millions of years, it is exactly the same. Now, I would like to quote from a Muslim author. His name is Imam Ghazali. He states, "Look at the bee and the innumerable wonders of its gathering honey and producing beeswax. We should like to make you aware of the geometry of its hive. It is built on a figure of a hexagon. If it should circular hives, there would remain outside the hives an empty space, since circles do not pack contagiously. Likewise are all other shapes. As to squares, though they do pack contagiously, but the shape of the bee is inclined to roundness, and so inside the hive there will remain empty corners. Consider then how Allah has guided the bee to the characteristic of this figure." Now, it is very interesting. Imam Ghazali is a Muslim thinker. He's a Muslim scholar who lived some 10 centuries ago. 10 centuries, 1,000 years. Which means Imam Ghazali, as you see in his sentences, he just sat down and he pondered. He just wanted to see the perfect creation of Allah. And I would like to state that science is a perfect tool. However, we don't need any science to understand and see the perfect creation of Allah. Just, pure observation is quite enough to see the perfect creation of Allah. I would like to show you an interesting slide. Look at this. So, this is a design, of course. This is a snowflake. It is obvious. But look at the perfect art, the perfect design. I'll give you a number. In 1 meter cube of snow, it is estimated, there are estimated to be more than 350 millions of snowflakes inside 1 meter cube of snow. And did you know that each and every single snowflake has got a unique design. All of them are unique, which means as a result, look at this picture. Each and every snowflake is different than the other. Is there anyone who's sitting up on above the skies and designing and making these pictures, these designs? Oh, of course no. It is obvious that the design, of course there is a designer, and this designer is Allah, who is the Lord of everything. And now for the bee. The next stage in their life, they start to collect nectars from flowers. It is very interesting because, of course, as you know, they're going to produce some honey. And some numbers I would like to give you. An average lifespan of a honeybee is around 2 to 3 months. And during this life period, the total amount of honey that they can produce is not more than 1/12 of a teaspoon. And do you have any idea how many flowers they have to visit to produce 1 kilogram of honey? Well, I'll tell you, it is more than 3 million flowers. And the distance they have to fly for, again, for producing 1 kilogram of bee is more than 2 times around the world, which is more than 60,000 kilometers. Now, how they produce the bee is they produce the honey is very interesting, because scientists, they found that whenever a bee discovers a nectar source, it immediately goes back and describes the location of the nectar source to its colleague. And to do this, if you remember, I mentioned that the bees cannot hear each other, they're deaf, and inside the hive there is no sunlight. They have a very specific method to describe the location of the nectar source. This is the bee that discovers the nectar source. It immediately goes back to the hive and performs a specific dance. It is called the honey dance. And using its body, it draws a shape which resembles the number 8. As you can see on the illustration over here, the red line, the red path, show us it resembles, it looks like the number 8, and at the center of this number 8, it shakes its body. And in fact, it is very interesting that this movement, the direction of this, shaking its body, show the direction of the nectar source according to the sun. So to be sure about this, scientists, they put a nectar source which is 100 meters far from the hive, and they start to wait over there. What's going to happen on this nectar, on the nectar source? They take the very first bee that finds the nectar source and mark it with a yellow paint. It immediately goes back to the hive and makes a specific dance. And all the bees that watch this dance, now they're marked with a blue paint. And when the scientists go back to the nectar source and check what's happening there, amazingly they discover that only blue marked bees are discovering the nectar source, which means that blue marked bees are the ones who watch this specific dance, which scientifically prove the existence of such dance. Moreover, scientists they understand that